Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Putty, and welcome to the May Show. Welcome to 2023's May Show Old School Rules. The main event of the evening will be the finals of our number one contenders process, which kicked off, of course, when Ernie Two Belts, Ernest Youngman, the world's heavyweight champion and the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling heavyweight champion, came here and announced that it was the year of Ernest Youngman, that he wanted to find a tag team partner and he wanted to make this year something special. It's his 30th year on the planet. I think it's his 10th year in professional wrestling. He has been around for quite some time now. He's a 4-time World Heavyweight Champion, a 1-time Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Champion, one of the longest reigning Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Champion in history. Bossman Brayfield for Fan Festival wanted to make it a big defense. He's going to be taking on the winner of our main event of the evening, but of course, we don't know who's in our main event until we have the semi-finals of our number one contenders process. Fro Shore is going to be taking on the Architect Dewey Archer, and Austin Smooth is going to be taking on the triple threat, Davis Wayne Newton. Our main event of the evening will be the winners of those two matches facing off in the Mid-Atlantic Texas Death Match. No, that's wrong. The Mid-Atlantic Death Match, which is, if you are familiar with the Texas Death Match, the same thing except it's just a last man standing match with weapons. Basically, no pinfall element like a Texas Death Match, and also, basically, various reasons you'll probably figure out by the end of the night why we had to create that match type, but we'll talk about that a little later. Also tonight we have a debut of a new tag team. Apparently have been running the Chicago territorial circuit, debuting tonight. We'll see them in action against the Ring Generals. It's in the Capitol Gardens. We are here. Let's do this. We kick things off with Audi Gone, a new tag team. Some wonderfully fast-paced and interesting professional wrestlers go 2-on-2 with the Ring Generals. The Ring Generals trying to work down Audi Goon, which is the team of Terry Dale and Clinton Adams, I believe are their names. And the Ring Generals trying to isolate Terry Dale, trying to cut him off from his partner, trying to isolate the ring, keep the Ring General corner safe, keep it destructive, quick tags to keep both Dean Waldorf, Deadly Dean Waldorf, and Marvelous Marv Statler fresh and ready to do exactly what they do best, and is work over an opponent. But Terry Dale will not be kept down, and with an enziguri and a quick kick, he finds his way across the ring, and an exciting moment, the first time ever, Clinton Adams gets in a Mid-Atlantic ring, wreck shop, big drop kicks to Dean Waldorf, big clothesline to Marv Statler, and picks up the, this was meant to go the other way, so we'll just, Actually, should we fix it? Let's fix it. Let's do that. Anti-spoiler screen up. I was about to just change it like ad hoc, but it's only the first match of the night, so yeah. No, indeed, I even swerved you with the result of the match, because indeed, Terry Dale does Clinton Adams does get in there and wrecks shop, much to the chagrin of the Ring Generals, who, of course, had controlled the match so wonderfully up until then, and they do indeed fall to the new team of Audi Goon, who pick up the victory. Good stuff. Dragon Rising is their pinfall maneuver. And after the match, they got on the mics and cut a really good promo, actually. Terry Dale picks up the mic and says, "You are looking at the new faces of American Tag Team Wrestling. We are willing, ready, and able to become the first successful Asian American tag team in the history of territorial wrestling. We're willing to work our way up. We're willing to fight. We've been champions everywhere we've been. We've fought so hard. We've been so successful in Chicago, and it's time to come to the greatest tag team territory in the business today, Mid-Atlantic Wrestling." And that was a statement victory. We respect the Ring Generals. We think they're one of the best tag teams ever, and we beat them. It's time for Audi Gun to take over. Austin Smooth is in the interview area, and he says, it's time for Mid-Atlantic Wrestling to be aced, to be run by somebody with a beating heart, by a human being with flaws and emotion and passions. And you know what? I am just as smooth, I am just as slick as Ernest Youngman. I'm just as fast-paced, I'm just as technically gifted as Ernest Youngman, but he's a machine. He hasn't got the passion. He hasn't got the beating heart of professional wrestling like I do. And you know what? I'm going to prove that I am the most human, the most passionate, and the greatest technical wrestler in the business tonight. And I will become the number one contender. And Davis Wayne Newton comes to the interview area after Austin Smooth and says, Austin, you want to call yourself the most human? You want to say you have the most flaws? Well, you're looking at a man who has all the flaws in the book and has to overcome them. I've let so many people down. But you know what? Tonight is my opportunity to make up for all of that. I am the rightful number one contender. I won a number one contenders match last October, and I've still not had my shot. But you know what? That's fine. I'm used to being denied opportunities that I've earned, and I'll earn it all over again. Because quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of doing things by the book, and I am more dangerous, more deadly, and yes, Austin, more human than I have ever been. And Austin, you are in for one hell of a battle. Davis Wayne Newton, fired up, angry, aggressive. Can he pick up the victory tonight in our first semi-final of the evening? Great wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Austin Smooth defeats Davis Wayne Newton with the smooth hold. Davis Wayne and Austin Smooth, probably two of the greatest matched individuals in the business today. Fast-paced technical wrestling from the offset. We've seen this style of match before. We saw it with Ernest Youngman versus Dewey Archer all those years ago, when they would just jockey for position, going from hold to hold, not in order to pick up an advantage, not to start working down a limb, but just to show that they're better than the other one. With a flash and a smile, a wink, and some charismatic grappling. They flashily escape. You know, it's just a matter of you put me in a hold so I can show you how I can escape from it. And it is a constant battle of one-upsmanship before it turns nasty when Davis Wayne Newton rakes Ernest. I keep confusing the two, and I shouldn't. When Davis Wayne Newton rakes Austin Smooth's eyes, and of course starts to take those cheap shots, starts to take those shortcuts that we've begun to associate with Davis Wayne Newton. Of course, he's a wonderful wrestler. He's a wonderful grappler. Nobody can deny that. But he's tainted. He's tarnished by this this willingness to go to these nasty tactics. And indeed, that's exactly what Davis Wayne Newton does tonight, raking the eyes. Nasty kicks to the shins of Austin Smooth. Just nasty attacks focused on one area of the body. But Austin Smooth is willing to overcome, and he fights back, and he shrugs off the shin kicks. He shrugs off the eye rakes, and he locks in every single technical wrestling maneuver under the sun, working hold to hold, going limb for limb, working over the triple threat Davis Wayne Newton. And then Davis Wayne Newton knocks out the referee and gets a steel chair and tries to smack Austin Smooth over the head with it. But Austin Smooth diffuses the situation, grapples down Davis Wayne Newton, knocks that chair out of his hands, starts to lock in another technical wrestling maneuver, maybe an arm bar, starts to wrench back on Davis Wayne's arm, that same arm that was going to throw a steel chair. But Davis Wayne is wily. Davis Wayne kicks himself up, starts ripping the turnbuckle pad off, ref still down, starts to throw Austin Smooth into it, but Austin Smooth is able to counter. Instead of getting his head thrown into an exposed turnbuckle, he jumps up on the top rope and hits Davis Wayne with a wonderful moonsault. Austin Smooth just countering every single dirty trick Davis Wayne tries to throw at him, and in the end picks up the victory and moves on to our final match of the night with a smooth hold. Big win for Austin Smooth. Davis Wayne's tricks just cannot stop one of the best wrestlers in the business today. In the interview area, we have MC Motormouth, who says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is MC Motormouth, and I am the greatest management consultation wrestling specialist in the business today. My client list reads like the A-team. My client list is the dream team. My client list is like the top-tier guest list for an LA club. Unfortunately, Earl Martin is not on it because he wouldn't be on an LA Club guest list. But you know who is on it? The architect of your destruction. The man who has toured the territories and got victories from shore to shore, from coast to coast. His name is Dewey Archer." And Dewey Archer picks up the mic and says, "Tonight, I get to prove to the world what I have been saying for years. I am the most must-see superstar in Mid-Atlantic wrestling history, the local celebrity, the uncrowned number one contender, and the uncrowned champion. The uncrowned ace of Mid-Atlantic wrestling. I've said this for years, but it is about time that I prove it. And Fro, I got nothing personal against you. I think you've been through some rough times, some hard times, and I really do sympathize for you. But tonight, Fro, I don't look at you as a man that I know. I don't look at you as a man who's been through hardships. I don't look at you like a man who's lost everything. I look at you, Fro, like a stepping stone, and I will do everything and anything to step on that stone and towards Fan Festival, where I will finally be the best. Fro comes out to the innovator and says, Dewey, you say you're the architect, and I gotta tell you, bro, you're right. You are the architect. You have got one of the greatest wrestling brains I have ever seen in this business. I will give it to you. You're great. And I'm not better. I'm not better at what you do. But I can hang, bro. And I tell you what I do have. I have 2 fists. And if there's one thing that I've learned from guys like Gary Walker, that I've learned from guys like Papa Dan, who have come in and who have fought their hardest and become a part of this wrestling world, is any man with 2 fists can do something in the wrestling business. And you know what? I've had everything taken from me. I got that fire burning in my heart. You can see fire exuding from my eyeballs. Look into them. Look into them and tell me you don't see passion, you don't see heart, you don't see fire that you won't see anywhere else in this business. Because you know what? I don't have anything to lose, Dewey. Nothing. So tonight, I'm going to fight like I don't have anything to lose. Tonight, I'm going to beat your sorry ass, and I'm going to be the one going to Fan Festival, and I'm finally going to be the best. Fro and Dewey Archer with parroting messages. Which one of the two will prevail in our second semi-final of the evening? Dewey Archer and Fro have the match that you would expect them to have. Fro trying to bring the passion, bring the fists of fury, that coastal zone, Californian style brawling. Those lefts and those rights, trying to put the technician Dewey Archer off his game. But unfortunately, you can't do it to a guy as serene, as masterful as the architect of your destruction, Dewey Archer, cheered on by his management consultant, MC Motormouth, at ringside. He's right, he's been up and down the territories and he has secured victories from everywhere. Everywhere on this planet. He has been one of the most recognized superstars in the business today, and he comes here in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, and despite Fro's passion, despite his fury, and despite his excellence of striking, he is unable to defeat the Architect, who does lock in every single technical wrestling maneuver under the sun with a wink and a smile to the audience. He's that type. You know the type. The men who have ruled MAW over the last 10 years. He's one of them, and indeed, he picks up a victory and gets one step closer to ruling MAW with a successful victory over the spirited Fro. And we have a video package showing Austin Smooth and Dewey Archer their route to the final. 2 very similar men in a lot of ways, but Austin Smooth a lot younger. I think he's younger. I think he's a junior to Dewey Archer in wrestling terms. But I'm not sure about that. And but he's hungry, and he hasn't had to endure as much as Dewey Archer has. For all Dewey Archer's posturing, for all Dewey Archer's confidence and acclaim, he hasn't been that successful. He hasn't held any gold. I don't think he's won a tournament. I don't think he's held any gold. Austin Smooth won a lot of gold in a lot of places. He's been all across the world, and he is seen as a superstar. Number 2 on the Confederation of the Territories coefficient rankings last year. Dewey Archer didn't even come close. He's never come close to that level of acclaim in the territories. And tonight, it is a Mid-Atlantic death match. Anything goes. It is going to be brutal. The winner is the man who can answer a 10 count before his opponent. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner will be the number 1 contender. And who will that number 1 contender be in a good match? Good wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. These two have a wonderful technical wrestling showcase. But it is brutal. It's not like the Austin Smooth Davis Wayne Newton opener. It's not like Dewey Archer's battles with Ernest Youngman. It is brutal. It is a technical... think Timothy Thatcher, Matthew Riddle from last year's SummerSlam weekend. You're talking brutal technical wrestling. Hate grapple fucking. Right, hate grapple fucking, where they're just absolutely brutalizing one another, getting each other down on the mat so that they can rip at each other's flesh. They can rip at each other's bones and limbs, trying to brutalize each other, trying to use that technical wrestling for evil, not good, not trying to put on a wonderful display, not trying to make the audience smile, making them cringe as bones are broken and limbs are torn in ways that they're really not meant to tear. And then Austin Smooth tries to separate, tries to bring up the pace a little bit, tries to go for that moonsault he went for earlier. And Dewey Archer is able to move out the way. So Austin tries to land on his feet. But he tweaks something. He tweaks that left leg. And you can see something's wrong with Austin Smooth's left leg. He tries to cover it up, tries to not let Dewey see that Austin is definitely hurt. But Dewey Archer sees that left leg buckling, that left leg really hurt, and he starts to capitalize, because of course he is. He's the architect. He's a smart man. He starts to brutalize down that left leg. He starts to rip at it, tear at it, starts to throw him through a table, through a stack of chairs, leg first, to make sure he hurts him. And this is the style of wrestling in this type of match. And it's not about trying to knock your opponent out. But every time Dewey does it, he says to Austin Smooth, you get up, you're going to get more of that. Your leg is going to break. I'm going to put you on the shelf for months. But Austin Smooth doesn't care. Austin Smooth is got the passion. He's got that fire. If there's one thing that he benefits from, if there's one virtue that he exudes, if there's one thing that he tries to trade on, it is heart. It is that beating, wrestling heart within his chest. And every time he gets thrown down, every time he gets knocked down, every time the searing pain, the brutal, nasty pain in that left leg, that pain he very well knows that if it builds, if it grows, it could very well mean months on the shelf. It could very well mean career-threatening injury, but he knows that there is nothing more glorious, that there is nothing more amazing than the feeling of winning the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Championship, the most prestigious territorial championship in the world. And that is what is on the line tonight, a shot, an opportunity at the greatest territorial wrestling championship there is. And he knows that if he stays down, he's not going to get it, and so he fights. Because he knows that at the end of the tunnel, the light is shining brightly. And he stands. And he keeps locking in those technical moves. He keeps escaping. Every now and then you see that left leg twitch. And he falls. And perhaps he gives up a little bit of ground on his opponent. But even with a bad leg, he's keeping up. Austin Smooth, one of the best technical wrestlers in the business today. But he's up there against the Architect. And every second this match goes on, the Architect is indeed channeling all of his energy into just hurting Austin Smooth's left leg. And it is a brutal affair, and Austin Smooth at some point is unable to stand. It's essentially a last man standing match, and Dewey Archer has succeeded in preventing Austin Smooth from standing. But Austin Smooth keeps fighting, Austin Smooth keeps working, and eventually Austin Smooth is able to lock in a sleeper hold. A sleeper hold on Dewey Archer. He doesn't need his leg to lock in a sleeper hold. It's a loose one. He can't put a full grip in with his legs or anything like that. But he can get his arms around Dewey Archer's neck, and no matter what Dewey does to squirm or scramble, the heart, the passion, and the glory-seeking eyes of Austin Smooth do not move off his prize as he locks in that sleeper hold and he brings the Architect down to the mat. And he's out. Dewey Archer knocked out, gone. But Austin Smooth can't stand. Every time he tries to get to his feet, that left leg's just not going to let him. He's nowhere near it. He just cannot stand. And both men are counted out. And it's a draw. I wonder what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Check out the rest of the series. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're feeling especially generous and particularly like the show, check out a link to my Patreon description if you want to hear me ramble on Twitter. A link to that is also in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, number one contenders match ended up in a draw. I wonder what that means. Find out next time at Fan Festival, the main event, a Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Heavyweight Championship match against somebody. Who will it be? Find out next time.